coming up on the Lead Ministry Podcast.
Day after day, he sat in his field and he prayed to God to not only bring the sunshine, to not only bring the rain. He was actually asking God this year, not just for those things, but also to plant the seed. Well, lo and behold, harvest comes, and not a single thing had popped up to this guy's shock. And to his dismay, he's like, wait a minute, maybe I didn't have enough faith.
Now your host, Josh Denhart.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Lead Ministry Podcast. Guess what? It is now the month of May. And as you know, we've been taking each month and really talking about one core ministry competency. Because what we want you to do is to dial in one really important aspect to ministry. Last month, it was digital. A number of months ago, it was how to retain volunteers. But now, in the month of May, we're talking about recruiting. And you're like, now, why would you guys choose the month of May for recruiting? I mean, Josh, we need volunteers for our big fall kickoff in September. Oh, I totally get it. Hear me out. In order to be successful when it comes to recruiting, you got to have a system. And we want to teach you that system. What you don't want to do is be duped into thinking that recruiting starts when you pick up the phone. There is nothing further from the truth. There are a lot of processes and systems that you can construct that are going to give you an advantage for the 7-minute phone call that you're going to end up having. So this whole month, the podcast, the webinar, all of our extras that we're going to be providing you, the course, everything with Lead Ministry is going to be focused and saturating you with how to be an expert as it relates to this critical concept in ministry called recruiting. Well, we're grateful that you're here, and we're grateful, Bill, that you are here as well. Thanks for joining us. You are a seasoned ministry expert, and I love talking to you about these things, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, any day is good when it's podcast day.
Yeah, I do enjoy the podcast. You're exactly right. Well, here's the deal. Recruiting. We're talking about it here in the month of May, which is so shocking that we're this far into the ministry year of 2026. But recruiting is a critical piece. Jesus said these words. He said, look out at the fields. They're white for harvest. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Therefore, pray to the Lord of the harvest. And we ought to pray to the Lord of the harvest as we're called to. But there's also some strategic things that we can do. Bill, a long time ago, I remember a fella told a story. He said, you know what? As a farmer, this year, I'm planting by faith. And I said, wow, what is that? He goes, I'm going to sit out in my field, and instead of planting a single seed, I'm trusting God that He's going to do it all. And so day after day, he sat in his field and he prayed to God to not only bring the sunshine, to not only bring the rain, to not only do this really crazy thing where the root system extracts nitrogen and transports it through a process called transpiration in order to pull off all of the crazy things that growth needs to happen for a plant. He was actually asking God this year, not just for those things, but also to plant the seed. Well, lo and behold, harvest comes, and not a single thing had popped up to this guy's shock. And to his dismay, he's like, wait a minute, maybe I didn't have enough faith. Or maybe you were stupid.
I think it was stupid.
That you presumed on God to do that which is inside of your power to do. So it is this ministry thing. It is a both and. There are things that only God can do. And then there are things that God can do because He can do all things, but He relegates to us. And part of that is that we are waiting for Him to move in the heart of someone to say yes to us in a ministry context, to say yes to participating. Okay, that is His work. And pray to the Lord of the harvest that He might raise up workers. Okay, got it. But as it relates to dialing in, like maybe a sheet of paper that you could hand somebody that tells them where they could participate, maybe even taking that paper and having 3 versions where it's time to serve, gifts and abilities to serve, and age group. Maybe even just rearranging your stuff and taking the extra effort, that's going to inform somebody in a more expedited fashion so that they can say yes to the call God might even have on their life. There are things that we can do. Can I have an amen?
Amen. Yeah. This is, and I want to just say that, this is a core aspect for anybody in ministry is this piece of recruiting. And it's not just, like you said, picking up. It's not just when you pick up the phone. Mm-hmm. It is the whole system that undergirds recruiting.
That's exactly
And so
right.
This month I'm so excited for because I think this is no matter how long you've been in ministry, we all need to sharpen our tool when it comes to recruiting.
That's exactly right. There, Bill, was a lady, and she worked for a very big, very prominent church in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was so funny. I need to have her on the podcast. I need to research her and get her on the podcast. I truly do. I've thought about it before. And she got into real estate after she was a successful ministry leader in the local church. And she said, I learned so much as a real estate professional that I should have implemented as a leader in the church. And she went on to expand about this. And she goes, there are so many memorized things that I have, memorized scripts, memorized stats, memorized all kinds of things that I was forced to memorize as a, work with me, real estate professional that now I had in my invisible toolbox to pull out at any point. It wasn't like okay, I say this robotically, then I say this. No, she was so familiar with those that she could pull any of those memorized things out at the right moment. I gotta tell you, she said, I never thought that I should do that as a ministry person. And I did it for years. And I had a memorized script that I would pull out and polish. And it wasn't that all of a sudden I was just this robot, but it was a series of phrases that really could help inspire. And so she said, I was opposed to memorizing things early on in ministry. She goes, but I see the advantage. I should have been doing that all along. And so this is sharpening the axe or sharpening the saw like you're speaking. There are so many things that we can do. We've got a full month ahead of us. I'm grateful that everybody's here. We are talking about recruiting. And so here it is, how to attract the right people. We're going to talk all month about how to recruit. We're doing it now in May because you need to build these tools so that in June, July, and August, you're getting everybody lined up for your big fall kickoff. Okay, we're going to define it. We're going to develop it. And then, of course, we're going to call you to action and do it. So what is a working definition of recruit? So it is a new member of a group or an organization. It's a fresh supply of something. We are recruiting. We're looking to add a new member to our team, to our organization. We're looking to have a fresh supply of youth workers, of greeters, of front door greeters, of somebody who's going to work in the nursery. We want a fresh supply. So that's a definition of recruit. Now, what's a synonym of recruit? Attract, call up, draft, enlist, enroll, raise up. Okay, we got some more. Induct, select, sign on, sign up, take on, win over. Now that's a long list of synonyms. Let me just grab a few of them. Attract, let me read them again. Attract, call up, draft, enlist, enroll, raise up. You're looking to induct, to select, to sign on, sign up, take on, win over. Bill, which one stands out to you?
I think the one that really stood out to me was enlist.
Enlist, okay. Tell us more.
Because I feel like, it gives me kind of like an army recruitment kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
But what I like about enlist is that it feels more like you're not just trying to get someone interested, but you're like bringing them to the task with commitment.
Yes.
Like I'm enlisting you into my team of people who are doing this ministry.
Exactly. And I'll say the one now, by the way, this is funny. We've been doing this a long time, and this definition part is kind of a part of our rhythm, and it's kind of fun. And you happen to select enlist. Now, I got to tell you, every other episode, I think we've happened to pick the same one. This is the one time that I had a different one. And mine was win over.
Okay.
And to win somebody over, because what I'm not looking to do is to fill a slot. What I'm looking to do is to get them to say yes to deeper engagement with God himself and to help get other people to have deeper engagement with God. And so I want to win them over to the idea that this is going to, number one, develop their life deeper, but in the process of your life developing deeper, because I believe that serving causes you to grow. I'm going to share that this is going to be a win for them, but it's also a beautiful thing to get other people to grow as well. So that's some synonyms. Now, what is some opposites of recruit? Ignore, decrease, forfeit, miss, waste, repel. Ouch. Which ones do you go with here, Bill? It's
kind of a cross between forfeit and repel.
Okay. Now mine was repel.
I was going to say, I think that repel feels like the exact opposite of recruit.
Right. Talk to us about that. I couldn't agree more.
Well, when you're repelling something, you're like pushing it away. And so if recruiting is winning somebody over or enlisting them in a task or into your ministry, repelling them is like, get out of here. We don't need you. We don't want you.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing, Bill, is this. That's the one that resonated with me, repel. And if I could be completely brutal and completely honest, how is it that we inadvertently repel people from our opportunities at participation? Number one, maybe you're just the definition of a hot mess express. And you are just, okay, remember back in the day, Charlie Brown and that guy, what was the kid's name that kind of had the dirt cloud just cruising around him? Do you remember him?
Oh, yes. I wasn't a huge Charlie Brown person.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Linus is the blanket.
Linus is the blanket guy. So let's just call
I know. Yeah.
Was it Pigpen?
Yes.
Pigpen.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
And the thing is what that was communicating is that he had just this negative aura about him, and wherever he went, this dust cloud just kind of followed him. Well, I think of that not in terms of dirtiness or anything like that. Poor kid, Pigpen, whatever. But I'm gonna turn the corner on that and say, what about the hot mess express aura that when you walk in, just like chaos and sparks and insanity just are emanating from you. You are repelling people from you. They look at that and they're like, that looks like a layer of crazy that my life doesn't need. And so if you are the definition of the hot mess express and you have this just crazy aura about you, that is not inviting anybody. That is repelling people. Maybe you're hyper disorganized. Maybe you are scattered. That's repelling people. On the flip side, if you're hyper organized, you've got everything pulled together, you look the part, you act the part, even though on the inside you feel not exactly put together, but you're putting on through organization, that is going to attract people and have people go, you know what? It seems that my crazy life is going to be safer serving with them than that person over there who looks like an extreme case of the melodrama. Can I have an amen?
Amen. And I think that this doesn't even happen always at a conscious level.
100%.
People can sense if you are a hot mess in terms of your ministry and how you're interacting with people and how you even belong to the church. People intuitively know that if you're the leader of that ministry, maybe I'm going to be jumping into something that I don't want to. And it's not even a conscious thought that they're having. They're just sensing that. They're feeling that.
Yeah. I mean, what is our brain doing for us, Bill? At all times, it's seeking to keep us alive. At some level, that's what our brain is doing. Like, okay, let's ward off danger. Let's think about survival. Human beings are pre-programmed to keep ourselves alive. And all of a sudden, when you look at an opportunity, your brain subconsciously might be like, that's going to be crazy for you. You're going to hate yourself. This is going to make your already crazy life to a degree of crazy that you don't want. And then subconsciously, you're just like, I don't think, something inside says this isn't a good fit. Yeah, it's not a good fit because it's going to blow up your life, and your own crazy mind subconsciously knows that. And it is saying, run in the other direction. Oh my goodness. That is not recruiting. That is repelling. Okay, so let's turn the corner. We had a little definition option there. Now let's talk about one way to attract new volunteers. We're going to develop this. Okay, now, Bill, for years, now I'm telling you, if you're not listening to this, if you're only listening, you're going to need to jump onto YouTube because I've got some visuals that you're going to love, okay? For years, scientists and deep sea divers were baffled by elaborate sand designs on the bottom of the seafloor. I'm showing some of those sand designs on the screen right now. Bill, does that not look cool?
That looks really cool.
Now watch this. Go ahead. Describe it just as best you can.
It almost looks like, I don't know, like a spaceship landed on the ocean floor and left an imprint.
Okay, it looks like a spaceship landed. And so scientists were baffled. They'd be swimming along under the ocean and they're like, what the heck is that? And how did that get here?
Yeah.
And then the tides would move and it'd all be gone. And then they would run into another one. And so nobody knew what this was for years and years. It is the Japanese pufferfish. Almost by accident, scientists and divers discovered the Japanese pufferfish was making these elaborate designs. It is a very small little fish that creates this massive kind of underwater mandala effect. Okay, so the Japanese pufferfish is dull. It's almost to the point of invisibility, but to compensate, it becomes one of nature's greatest artists. Now, Bill, I got goosebumps right now. I call this the puffer fish principle. And so it's small. Even on this screen here, you can see that it almost blends in with its surroundings. So it has to find a way to stand out. And the way that it does that is by spending an immense amount of time making this crazy design. Well, interestingly enough, what this documentary said is, if this crazy design doesn't get him noticed, nothing will. Now, the intent in this case of the pufferfish, what it's intending to do is to gain favor with another pufferfish so that it can get the girl. Okay. So why does it do this? To get the girl. So hear me out real quick. It's going to making this elaborate design. And if its design is elaborate enough, another pufferfish is going to be swimming by and they're going to be like, well, dang, what's that? And then he caught her attention. And this is ultimately, it's a mating strategy. Now hear me out. Volunteers live, I'm turning the corner here, Bill. Volunteers live in a chaotic world. It's chaos at home. Kids are chaotic. Their car is cluttered. My wife's car is cluttered. They have a compromised sense of inner peace. Can I have an amen?
Amen.
People's lives are crazy, but we can bring order in a world of chaos. Clean spaces versus cluttered spaces. Subconsciously, you're providing something important. Crisp versus lame brochures. A logical ministry tour. A peaceful presence versus the hot mess express. And so by doing these things, we can ultimately create an environment where people want to participate with us, just like this pufferfish has gone to great lengths in order to get noticed. That it clearly has like some type of of creative advantage, if it has enough like energy to go to this extent and it's basically 2 inches big and it creates something that's like meters long and looks completely elaborate and crazy, that is an indication. That is nothing but an external indicator to a potential mate that this one is strong enough and good enough and intelligent enough that it would be worthy of passing on my genes. Well, I'm sorry. I'm certainly not looking to get a date, okay? But I'm looking to recruit somebody, and I'm looking to, for them, it's, wait. So for us, for them, it's, they want to get the girl. For me, it's to get the volunteer. Mm-hmm. I can create an environment that is going to lend itself to send a psychological signal. This guy, this gal has their stuff together.
I love that. And I think, it's kind of a both and thing as well, because it's not, you're not doing that just to get the volunteer.
No,
it's what helps you get the volunteer. But really, I love the vision that you kind of created of, man, these volunteers in our churches, they are dealing with chaos everywhere, in probably every area of their life. What if your ministry was the one place where they go and they go, wow, I feel like I'm part of something bigger here. I feel like when I'm here, that there's not a lot of friction to do what God called me to do. I feel like there's a lot of peace when I work with this ministry. Wouldn't that be awesome? That vision is amazing.
Bingo. You're nailing it on the head. This is the whole concept of this particular episode. In part, it's the pufferfish principle. This pufferfish acts as a model. And by the way, again, here's the deal. That underwater mandala that's totally beautiful and glorious, that is nothing more than an indication of the strength and intelligence of that creature. In the same way, us having organization, peace, systems, and processes in place, that is nothing more than an indication that there's more of that. There's more where that came from. We are going to take care of you. We've got our business pulled together, and an orderly space is nothing but a visual communication that we're not out of control here. We're going to be good for you.
Amen.
And so that's a good thing. Now watch this. Here's a scary option. Volunteers have other options. They could be a volunteer soccer coach and not serve in children's ministry. They could be a volunteer at the school play and not serve in youth ministry. They could go to Target on a Wednesday night and not be a leader of the marriage seminar, though they're highly qualified for that. They could serve on the greeter team, not on your team.
Yeah, there's lots of options. I mean, I think everything's vying for people's time.
That's exactly right. And so all of a sudden, a whole bunch of pufferfish, female pufferfish, are floating by and they see chaos. That particular one looks like a really, really, really good underwater mandala. I'm going to choose that one. And so I want to do any and everything that I possibly can to make it an easy yes for people. I want to, as you say, lower the friction, but I want to lower the opportunity for them to get hung up on anything.
Right.
Now, Bill, I'm in 65 different churches a year. Okay. And I am telling you the truth, brother. I have seen a lot. And there are some ministries that I walk into that I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about this, but this place is a place of order. And this place is a place of health and seamlessness. And then the smiling person who's hosting me is like, well, we really try. And I'm like, it's obvious. And then I go to another church and it is legitimately, I'm like, oh, so that pile over, this is January. You're having me in to speak or do an event, and that pile clearly looks like your Oktoberfest not yet put away.
Ooh, yeah. Or it's amazing. It's amazing that you can just visually like, think about that for a second. You
Yes.
can walk into a church and within moments, you can visually tell what kind of ministry this is.
100%. And so that's what I'm seeking to. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. It's within moments that I walk in and I'm like, I have this is a great indicator of the whole. I'm just seeing the tip of the iceberg, but I can extrapolate forward and get a pretty good prediction. And by the way, I've done this. I've been going to 65 churches a year for a decade. That's a lot of churches that I've been to. And it's just that way. And I walk in, it's a little bit chaotic, it's a little bit crazy. And then I'm like, oh, well, this is the sound guy who's a complete train wreck, and they're hobbling together. And I imagine the mic is going to cut out in the middle of the service, and then it does. That's in keeping with what I predicted the second I walked into this church. So what I'm saying is the pufferfish principle. People are going to get a sense for you just by walking into your thing. So be cautious about the sense that you're giving them, because they have a lot of other options. Now, Bill, if you thought this was just about the pufferfish, I've got yet another one. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Have you ever heard of the Bowerbird?
I have not, actually.
Now, have you ever heard of the pufferfish, by the way?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of the pufferfish.
Okay,
sure.
so the Bowerbird is even a layer bigger. This is an amazing bird. If you do a deep dive, you'll be completely blown away. So this is a very intelligent bird, and I call this the Bowerbird Basics. We're going to continue to take another angle at this. Now, the picture that, again, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you should. On the screen, this particular bird has built this elaborate hut. It's like a little cave. I'm sorry, I call it a love den. Sorry. But out in front, it has gone to a great set of lengths it's got this blue motif. Do you see it going on?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It found a whole bunch of small, not blueberries, but berries that are blue. It actually found on the left side, that is fecal matter of another species, but it's kind of bluish in color, and it's organized them over here. And then in the middle, that's actually a human wrapper to some kind of candy, but it's placing it out there as decoration. And it's got this wonderful blue motif. Now, here's the deal. Here's what the documentary says. These structures are created in hopes of gaining the approval of a passing hen. They're like, look at old boy. Now, here's another one.
Wow.
So this is I like that you said, wow. It's a decorative opportunity to entice a female. And then the next one that they see, they're like, oh, that one's better. I'm going to go there. Wow. Or that one's lame. They didn't put much effort in. And so these Bowerbirds, so it says this, eventually the female goes for the most creative male in his dazzling work of art. So volunteers could choose you or something else. They look maybe better. My option is to look better than the alternative. Is to communicate they will get value here. It's to communicate order communicates future peace. So I'm going to go back in time just a little bit. The Bowerbird is seeking to not only build this structure, but it's seeking to decorate in such a way that is communicating that it's a worthy option to pass on your genes. It's like you had to be strong, you had to be creative, and you had to be intelligent. And that's going to be good for my offspring to have those genes, as opposed to Johnny Slop Mess, who is 100 yards away and his Bowerbird den looks like trash. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, it actually matters, right? I love that. I think what we're pointing out here is that it actually matters how you present your ministry and how your ministry actually functions. That matters to people, and that matters to people who you're competing with other time sucks in their life.
That's exactly right.
It actually matters how you're presenting.
That's right. Again, I'm going to hit this again. Volunteers could choose you, or they could choose something else. I want to look better than the alternative. I want to communicate, you will get value here, right? Like you see my Bowerbird like organization and the way that I've decorated everything. There's more where that came from. I want them to extrapolate forward and predict psychologically I'm going to be taken care of here. I think that order communicates future peace. Watch this. Current chaos communicates future chaos.
Yes.
Okay, so look at this. Look at this. This is my favorite one. This is a Bowerbird nest. Now, I'll tell you, you walk up, you're just hiking around in the woods. You're like, what in the world? Look at this montage. It says this in the whatever the documentary. This is no nest. This is the ultimate seduction parlor. But I mean, Bill, I like it. Wouldn't this stand out to you if you're hiking? You would be like, who made this?
Yeah, you would think that a human did it.
You're exactly.
You'd be like, oh, like it's amazing actually to see.
Okay.
I mean,
and so the level of thought that was put into this causes this bird to stand out. And what I'm saying is, what does the Bowerbird nest communicate? Health, vitality, order, intelligence, good genes. It's going to be a provider. Hang on. What does your volunteers offer communicate? I could grow here. Or, wait for it, this leader will need to grow.
Yes.
No, I don't want that. This could, what is it? What does your offer to volunteers communicate? This leader has it together? Or, guess what? I will have to hold it together. I don't want my volunteers to think I'm going to have to hold this together. I want them to say, this leader has it together. What does your offer communicate to volunteers? Serving here will be easy versus serving here will possibly harm me. Ouchie.
Ouchie, yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's land this plane. We're going a little over, but today was fun. Become aware of all forms of communication. Now, the pufferfish principle, it's very simple. Obsess about the volunteer experience. Obsess about it. Number 2, I think this is really important. Appearance matters. Appearance differentiates. Like you said, I can walk into a church and in moments, I know a ton about that church and a ton about how my experience as a public speaker is going to go because I'm being invited into their environment. How much more so a volunteer who walks in and is like, okay. It's Pufferfish Principle Part 3, attract the right people. Now, I know we're going a little bit long, but I do want to share this next story. There's a guy, his name is Jim Weidman. Do you know who Jim Weidman is?
That sounds really familiar.
He's kind of the grandfather of all children's ministry. And here's what he said. You got yourself a huge belt buckle and cowboy boots versus a crisp polo and in-shape biking body. Now, this was his story, not mine. He said, for years, I wore a belt buckle and cowboy boots. And he said, guess what? I attracted a particular subset of people. And he goes, you want to know something? The other thing, he goes, I was a little bit on the overweight side. This is his words, not mine. And he said, and I could look at a fella and I could say, hey, brother, I like your belt buckle. I bet you got yourself a CDL. And he's like, well, yes, I do. Because a belt buckle communicates you got a CDL, a commercial driver's license. But then all of a sudden, Jim Weidman started exercising really hard, was wearing crisp polos, and he was now riding his bike everywhere. And he said, I began to attract a different subset of people who were more young professionals, not, as he said, not me, redneck truck drivers.
Yep.
Okay. So communication, hear me out. How you dress on a Sunday, how you format every email, the clarity of your brochures, the simplicity of your job descriptions, every bit of this is communicating what it is likely going to be like to serve with you. Bill, I think this is a huge, huge overlooked thing.
I agree. Yeah, it's a really important principle. And one piece that I saw in there that I think is so important for people to hear is we often think about shaping our ministries solely for who we're ministering to. And what this is causing us to do is to think about shaping your ministry for what it'll be like to serve in your ministry as well.
Yes, that's exactly right. Because people would say to me, Josh, you're a kids pastor. You must love kids. And I'd say, well, I actually do. That is a wonderful bonus. I like kids. I'm really good with kids. However, I work with adults who work with adults who work with adults who work with kids. So
absolutely,
I'm actually serving adults who end up serving kids. And so what you're saying is I need to create an environment where these adults who end up doing the lion's share of the ministry are the ones that are taken care of. If I take care of them, they're going to take care of the kids. Amen?
Amen.
Well, this is kind of fun. The Pufferfish Principle, this has been one that I have been working on for many years. I'm glad that we were able to get it out on the podcast. Grateful that you guys are here. Keep up the good work. And guess what? Clean up your ministry area. Clean up everything that you do, and you're going to be wonderfully surprised as to who you can attract. Gang, this is great. We're grateful that you're here, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Lead Ministry Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and visit leadvolunteers.com for more episodes and resources. Thanks for listening.